The next objective is to scatter a bunch of trees, grass, and other things onto the landscape. So these are the assets that I prepared. Let's have a look. So we have some pines, some grass, some wild plants, just standard stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna be using these to scatter on my landscape, but the scattering process is based on the camera angle. So let's go ahead and add a camera real quick. So I'm gonna be adding a camera around here. So Shift A, add a camera, and currently the camera is somewhat below the landscape. Let's move it up a little bit, around that much, or maybe type in, let's say 15 meters to move it 15 meters above the landscape. And let's go to the camera settings and turn on the viewport display and set the size to 50 meters. There we go. So it's much easier to see the camera within this landscape, or you can set this to all the way to something like 100. And go to the Object Data tab and turn on the In Front option in the Viewport Display section as well. Alright. And let's go to the camera view and split the view like this. And I'm gonna be changing the camera angle a little bit. Maybe something like that. But you see the camera is clipping away the far objects like the mountains. So go back to the camera data tab, and up here we have the clip start and clip end. Let's set this to something really big, like 20,000. There we go. And set the focal length to something else like 28. Alright. And rotate it up a little bit more, something like this. Alright, let's render and see the composition. Alright, that's good. It is time to scatter the trees. Let's create a new collection, and we will rename this to scatter. Alright, and within this collection, let's add a plane and reset the plane to the center of the world right here. Okay, and let's merge the view back together. Okay, and go to the geometry node editor and create a new geometry node modifier. There we go. And once again, we don't need the geometry input. Get rid of that and pull in the landscape, which is the plane. Let's go ahead and rename this real quick to land. There we go. Alright, and pull in the land object. Go to the post processor category and pull in the scatter tree. The quick tree scatter node. Alright, connect the landscape to the landscape input. And here we can pull in the pine template collection and turn on these two options to separate the two pines, as well as reset them to the center of the world, and connect these to the instances input. Alright, and have a look at the result. So you see we have a few trees here and there, but you see we have only a few trees all over the place. But before we increase the number of trees, we have to optimize the viewport, otherwise it's gonna crash. So go to the Object tab and go down here in the viewport display. In the display as, set this to bound. So each of the trees will now appear as a box mesh like this, and you have to turn on the show overlay option in order to see the trees. Alright, now we can increase this to something very high to have more trees. But we have a bunch of conditions to set. So let's first set all of these back to 0 so that we get rid of all the conditioning. And you see we have some glitch in the viewport, but I find this to be a glitch of Blender itself, not World Blender. If you render this, the trees will show up normally. So you see we still have all the trees here, but it's a glitch in the viewport, so just ignore that. And you see the trees still kind of avoid the low valley like here. This is because we have water here. So if we turn on the water, we will have kind of like a lake right here. So we have to get rid of the water condition as well. There we go. Alright, let's start conditioning the tree scatter from the beginning. First, we need to set the dirt requirement. Let's say the pines require at least 3 meters of dirt beneath it in order to grow. So you see, now it's selecting the areas with at least 3 meters of dirt. And we have a transition between 0 and 1 mask. The transition will start at 3 meters and then it's gonna blend to the 6 meter to have the maximum density, right? So let's turn off the dirt condition. Next, let's set the slope condition. We need to set the maximum slope that the trees are allowed to grow. Let's say 35 degrees. There we go. So the steeper slope will have no trees whatsoever. And now let's set the flow condition. Let's say if the flow current is too strong, the trees will fail to take root. So let's set the maximum flow to something like 0.3. So you see, if we have too much water coming through, it's gonna carry away the seed and the trees will never be able to take root. Basically, it's gonna remove a bunch of trees based on the amount of flow. And finally, as you can see, the trees are growing pretty much everywhere. And let's go back to the camera view. So you see, the furthest away we can see is something around here. And it's around this much. The trees further away are completely invisible. So in order to get rid of the trees further away, we need to turn on the camera culling option. Currently it is turned off, so let's turn this on. There we go. By default, it's going to be using the active camera, but if you have more than one camera, you can select your main camera here. For this particular case, I'm going to leave the camera object to be blank. Let's go back to the camera view, and you see we have the angle mismatch. So let's set the X angle, which is the horizontal angle, right, to something bigger. Let's say 55, 75. All right, that's good. And set this to, let's say 45, maybe more, 60. All right. Next, we will set the maximum distance for the trees to grow. So you see we have the maximum distance at 2000. We can set this to, let's say 4000. Okay, that's a lot better. Let's render and see how it looks. Get rid of the overlay and render. I don't want these trees to be too close to the camera, so I'm gonna create a clearance valley for the trees. I'm gonna go ahead and create a new Bezier curve. This is gonna be tree clearance. There we go. And once again, I'm gonna turn on in front to let it show up even though it's below the landscape. I don't want it to be perfectly circular, something like that. So select the scatter again, and this time pull in the tree clearance and use relative. There we go. Go to the mask builders and go to the samplers and pull in the mask from curve node and put the curve to the shape input of the mask from curve. Alright, let's check out the mask. We have to invert the clearance, so set this to 1 and set this to 0. And now we can put this into the mask input of the tree scatter. So you see we have a very nice clearance. But I don't want total clearance like this. I want a few trees here and there. So instead of setting the maximum value to 0, I can set this to, let's say 0.3. And we have a few trees here and there. But let's set this to something even lower, 0.2. Maybe that's better. Let's try again with the render. You see, that's much better. Okay, now we can rename this to tree scatter. Alright, and we can turn this off for now. Next, we need to scatter the grass. So once again, we will create another plane, Alt-G to reset this to the center of the world, and create a new geometry node, and once again get rid of the geometry input. And just like before, pull in the landscape, and pull in the grass template, and turn on these two options. Go back to the post-processing category, and pull in the quick grass scatter. Connect these two in, and connect the combined instances to the output. Once again, we need to set the conditioning, so get rid of the water condition, the flow condition as well, and for the slope, let's just leave it as is. get rid of these two conditions as well. And right now the grass is very small and only a few instances of grass were created, so we can't see anything. Let's go to the spreadsheet and have a look at the number of instances. We have like 15 instances. And so in order to see some grass, we need to increase the density to something very high. You see, we start to see some grass, but these bushes are very small and we can barely see anything. But we can actually cheat a bit and we can forcefully increase the size of the grass to 1.3, make them a little bit bigger so we don't have to scatter too many bushes of grass to cover the land. Let's increase this to maybe 2 million, but you see the viewport is currently very slow because we did not set the display setting for the grass scatter. So go to the object tab and again set the display as to bounds. So it's a lot faster now. Alright, let's set the camera condition. Go back to the camera view and increase this to 75 or less. Let's say 65. Now 70. Alright, that's better. Set this to 60. That's better. Alright, we don't need to scatter the grass too far away because at this threshold, right, the trees are gonna cover the entire land. So all of this grass is pretty much useless, right? So we can actually get rid of all the grass further away from the camera. So let's go back down here and set this to 500, maybe something like that, maybe even lower. But for me, I'm just gonna leave this as 500 for now. So with this, we are now allowed to increase the amount of grass to something a lot higher. Let's say 10 times as much. And I think we have too much grass. Set this down to 10 millions. Alright, let's have a look at how the grass cover the land and get rid of the show overlay option. Even now the grass failed to cover the entire landscape. So we can just increase the amount of grass, let's say to something like that, and increase the size to 1.5. Let's see if it managed to cover the entire landscape. Alright, that's better. This is good enough to move on. So move this back to here and duplicate this node. And let's go back to the outliner and pull in the grass template 2 and grass template 3. Get rid of the render. Alright. And again, turn on these options. Alright. And join these two together. So now we have a collection of both templates. Alright, connect this to the instances of the quick grass, alright, and connect the all output to the next grass scatter node. Let's just view the new instances and not the combined instances. Alright, so we have a little too much, and for the secondary grass we don't need a lot of instances, so let's get rid of this one digit. Alright, something like that. And don't forget to change the seed, so we have a different scatter formation. Let's connect the combine instance to the output. This will combine the existing grass with the secondary grass. And let's render. You see, that's a lot better. It looks much rougher. Alright, let's turn back on the trees and see how the trees look with the grass. You see, that's a lot better. And next we need to scatter the rock as well. So once again we will create a new plane, Alt G to reset this to the center of the world, and once again create a new geometry node and get rid of the geometry input, pull in the land. There we go. And pull in the rock template, turn on separate children and reset children. Now to scatter the rock you can actually use the grass scatter as well because it's pretty much the same, but for this tutorial I'm gonna be using the generic scatter objects node. So I'm gonna pull this in and I'm gonna connect the landscape to the landscape input and connect the rocks to the instances. Okay, for now let's turn off the tree and the grass scatter. Let me rename this real quick. There we go. And this will be the rock scatter. Okay. And connect the new instances to the output. And you see we have a few rocks here and there, but let's configure the rock scattering. Set this to 20,000. Alright, so we have some rocks here and there, and I can increase this offset to force the rock to go up a little bit. Let's say 0.2, maybe 0.4, maybe something like that. Alright, and I'm gonna set the scale to something bigger. Let's say 2 and 0.7. That's better. But you see, this generic node does not have the conditioning parameters, so you have to set the condition using the mask input. And to do that, let's go back to the mask builders. And I'm gonna create some camera culling using the mask builders. So let's go to the sampler, and first I'm gonna use the camera culling right here and connect this to the mask. So you see it's culling away the rocks outside the camera view, but once again let's set this to 70 degrees and set this to 60 degrees. You see the viewport is a little slow right now. That is because we are having many rocks all over the place. So now it's a good time to use the distance culling node to cull away the far away rocks. So connect this to the next mask and then connect the mask output to the mask input of the scatter node. Okay. So now the viewport is a lot faster because the far away rocks were all culled away. For this, let's set this to 500. So we only have like a few rocks here and there. Now let's set this to 700. Maybe add a few more rocks here and there. Okay. And I was meant to set this to 20,000, but somehow I ended up with 2,000. So we have this many rocks, but we are not there yet because right now you can see the rocks are very uniformly scattered. Normally, you should have a bunch of secondary rocks near the big rocks, right? So the rocks kind of like clump together like so. And to do that, we will scatter the rocks again, connect the all to the landscape, alright? And once again connect these rocks into the instances and change the seed to something different, okay? And also change the size to be something smaller because these are secondary rocks. There we go. But you see right now the secondary rocks are also very uniformly scattered, and we need to force the scattering to group around the original rocks. This is a bit of a custom node setup, so create a instance to point node and connect these new instances to the instance to point node. Create a geometry proximity node and select point. Alright, now we have this distance output. Let me just show you the output real quick. So we have this distance output. Right now it's all white because the distance is very far away from the particles. So create a map range node and select a certain distance, let's say 3 to 10. So you see we have the position of the primary rocks like this, but we can invert this mask to 1 and 0. There we go. So you see now we have a nice mask for the secondary rocks. We can now go ahead and connect this to the mask input of the secondary rocks. And let's have a look at the scattering. You see, it's a lot better. But now it's a good time to increase the amount of rocks. Let's say 4, maybe 400,000. You see, we have some more rocks and they are scattering around the primary rocks like that. It's a lot more natural looking. Now it's a good time to render again to see the result. So turn on the grass and the tree scatters. And I think the viewport is a little slow, so I'm gonna turn this into bounds as well. Okay, let's render and see. And as you can see, the primary rock seed is 0, which is the exact same seed as the tree. It's scattering the rock at the exact position of the trees. So we need to go back here and change the seed to something different. Let's say 10. That's better. But I think the rocks are a little too high on the ground. So I'm gonna set this back down to 0.2. And perhaps I should change this to 0.5 instead of 2. That's better.